What if I wrote that book? What if I won that award? Or what if I win that game? You see, in life, there are no ifs, but rather only is. The existence and state of being, a simple, non interchangeable word, in or if. These two beautiful, two-lettered words. And yet they hold such power to the human mind. The state of being, to be something, it is to vibrate at that unconditionally, without any part of your body disregarding that or saying, no, I shall vibrate differently. And because of that, you are that vibration. So, in terms of flow state, what does that have anything to do with anything? Well, let's start. My name is Luna, and today, let's talk about flow state, alright? So, what is flow state? Flow state, it can be seen as the present moment, or whatever is right now. You're in tune with your body, your mind, and the universal frequencies at play. As you tap into a specific vibration, you're able to become that vibration. Although this beautiful, beautiful, wide and vast jumble of different vibrations exist, they all play different parts in the song that it makes up. Whether you want to play, metaphorically, the trombone or the piano, these two different frequencies have many little frequencies within them, whether you would like to play an F sharp or a B minor. All of these, for metaphorical terms, are very important in becoming what you like to be. So, if you were to think of a radio station, with many stations as well for another example, how many different frequencies of radios can you tune into to listen to? This is the same with your body, mind, and soul, because everything works vibrationally. In this world, as we know, the universal law is vibration. Vibration carries, transmutes, and exists with everything. So, if you want to get to a specific point, right? Let's say, for examples of flow state, when you're playing a game and suddenly you get into the zone, what do you call that? For most, they may just call it getting into the zone or just losing yourself in the moment. But this can also be called flow state. This flow state equals no separation point between you and the task at hand. And the task can be many things, whether it's meditating, a game, an award, or perhaps completing a project of your own. Whatever this may be, you can tap into that frequency by choosing your intention. All of it starts with a stated intention in your vibration. As you think about something, imagine you are right before a basketball game. You're on the sidelines, or perhaps still in the locker rooms getting ready, and you're setting your intention. You're telling yourself, I win the game. I won the game. And as you start to become that vibration, you're preparing your internal mind, as you say this, to send out. So, something to be noted before I continue is your pineal gland, I believe, or they say it's located near the pineal gland, but your third eye, somewhere in the brain, is responsible for creating a lot of the vibrations within you. And so, when you're telling your mind to create those vibrations, that existence, right, you speak it, whether it be through mental thought or through actual verbal words. Your mind becomes it. It doesn't know the difference between real or fake, so it will become it. So as you tell yourself, I win the game, your body sends out those vibrations to your body to therefore continue on. Think about your brain as a computer. It will try to give you the best result for whatever you're trying to accomplish. If you want to fail a test, it will make you fail a test. If you don't want to get anxious, but all you're thinking about is anxiousness, it thinks you want to get anxious. It only knows what it's exposed to. That's why word selection is also so important in life. Like, for example, I was having this discussion with my family the other day about, oh, I hope we don't get in an accident, versus the meaning of, I hope we get home safely, or I believe we'll get home safely. The vibration was still with the accident. It was still giving attention and thought and energy to that, even though that was what they were trying to avoid, right? So, moving on, back to that gameplay scenario. If you set that intention, right, I win the game, your body and mind slowly, I wouldn't even say slowly, but it attunes to that and leads you towards a path of becoming that. When you set your intention and you truly set it and let it be, and continue to exist in that moment, the universal frequencies will therefore change and respond back to you with a response of how to move forward aligned in that action. Especially if it's in your highest good, it will continue it on. Everything is always learning, so think about it like that. So, one thing to be noted though is if you set your intention and continue to hold on to it instead of letting it go, we could see in the example of the game where if you were to continuously think about, oh, I have to win this game, I have to win this game, you not only are feeling a lack of security that you are part of the universe and are responding and working with it, and feel the need to have to control it fully in this body, but also do you completely take your attention out of this present moment, which you need this present moment to truly exist and thrive, especially in the flow state. That's the whole point. It's this existing moment now. You take away all of that and are already focused on a future moment for an extended period of time instead of setting that intention. So that difference between existing in the present moment and allowing what is being to be versus trying to make something to be are two different things. If you set your intention for something and it's truly in your highest good, which I always believe we should set that intention with it, it will come, right? And when we allow for these, I almost want to say external forces, but they're all within, right? It's just working in a wider scale. It's a lot easier then. So, back onto what flow kind of is, right? It can also be seen as a state of unneeded, I should say an excluding of unnecessities. That would be better to say. You no longer have the stress or the agitation or anxiousness in this state. You are able to function at your peak optimal human experience, and through this, there are no distractions. I should note, it is extremely important to get rid of distractions. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but there is comfortability in the uncomfortability with flow. Flow state you can think about in a scenario of a fish in a rapid stream. If a fish were to try and control everything in that stream, right, it would not be able to exist. And although we can apply it to little things like games, projects, or jobs, this should, I say, but I don't really like the word should, but this can be applied, and I would advise applying it to your daily life. Being able to exist in flow is an easier way of existing and tapping into the higher divine, I would say. So, with a fish in a stream, if you're the fish, right, and you want to control everything, there's a bunch of rocks and there's a bunch of things that make the water not go completely straight, but it's all moving in one general direction, right? Now, if you were to flail around and try to make your own way without understanding every conscious aspect and everything that could happen, you put yourself up for a lot more danger. Let's say you didn't realize there would be a really sharp, pointy rock at the next turn, and you go flailing around a rock, and you're like, ooh, I barely made it, and then sleesh, your scales get all ripped against something, right? There are little things like that when we're forcing things, it doesn't go well. But if we were the fish and just quite literally let go and pretended we were practically a rock in that, besides focusing our attention at the end of our stream, perhaps, like making it to the end of the stream and feeling how the water's directing us, we just flow with the water then. And I feel like that would be the most easiest metaphorical example of being in flow, is a fish with very rapid water and just quite literally allowing the water to take it however it will, because the water will direct it around all these harsh objects. The water wants to avoid objects, so it will bend around rocks, it will go over little pebbles, like that type of thing. It's just going to continuously flow things downstream. So it's a very beautiful thing when you're in flow, especially in your daily life, because to some people it may seem superhuman, but I believe it is truly just being in harmony with universe. So, yes. In this, we are able to truly analyze everything 360, externally, internally, everything. And it narrows it down to what we truly need. So keep that in mind, okay? So if you're trying to get into flow state, you may actually have some difficulty. I must say, when I try to get into flow state, it doesn't always happen with everything, and that's okay. It just takes practice. I want to emphasize, it will take practice. You're going to need the intention, which we already stated. It's your first step. Whether it's your intention to just be on your highest path is a general term, or perhaps to just be in this moment for whatever it may be, with no intention specifically. Whatever it may be for you, set it and let it be. With that, you completed step number 1. Step number 2 can look a lot different for many people. I should say also to remove distractions before we go into step number 2, because if you have distractions, it's not going to go well. And we talked about that, just cut the distractions. But step number 2, practice and apply. Now, application, the first start, can look a little different. People can benefit from rituals such as some athletes before games have certain, let's say, warm-ups that they do, or foods or words that they say to themselves to have them prepared and let their mind and have those signals go off that they're ready for something and it needs to get in the zone for this particular activity. Other people may try to envision and breathe and become that vibration already to fully exist as that, which that's more of a me type of thing. But there are many different ways, and no one plan or application is always applicable for everyone. So just keep that in mind. But another thing to also regard is when you're choosing something to get in flow, you need something that is going to slightly challenge you. If you choose something that is easy for you, your brain is going to get bored. It does not have anything to work for at that point. So please note that you do need to have a slight difficulty to whatever challenge you're trying to accomplish. This will help growth because the flow state is all about growth. It wants to progress you along downstream, so to speak, but it's not about the end goal. It's not about the painted picture at the end, so to speak. It is just the journey and not the destination, okay? So, flow state, again, it's this moment. Practice and apply it with little things throughout your life and your day, I should say. You can apply it with if you have homework or work at university, perhaps, or even at literal work, whatever this may be. Please apply it and practice it. The more you practice, the easier it is. And the things that we don't apply regularly, we forget. Skills come and go, but that's okay. We can always relearn things because everything is relearned. So, with that, I would say really the last thing is just be in this moment. I could say it a million times, but this will be the last, I promise. This moment is truly all that we have. There is no future or past. Time doesn't actually exist. We may perceive time in a way that is capable for the human mind to understand easily, but if you look at it beyond what we see it as and include the multidimensional aspects to it, it is something that is very malleable and something that is not linear either. So time, vibrations, everything, it's all interconnected and very malleable. You never would be able to think that something completely black could go completely white, and yet with a simple vibration it can. Or perhaps a mountain crumbling right before your hands when it was the strongest thing. Vibration is incredible and something that we can use in our daily life. So practice it. Alright, guys? So this was Flow State with Luna, and I do pray that this brought you love, light, and clarity. I don't believe we have anything else, and so I will see you off for another video. Thank you for joining. Bye.